Hey everyone, it is February 20th, 22nd, and this is a vlog, but also it's probably going to be more like a mix of things Zena's excited about. What do we call those?
Things I love?
Yes, things I love, and a lovely little rant about some other stuff I'm passionate about. So, lately I've been reading a lot of comics, and a lot of queer comics. And these make me insanely happy, alright? Just so good. As a teen, I read buttloads and buttloads of LGBT stuff, okay? Julian Peters I've read a ton of. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember like all the authors at this point. But there was David Levithan wrote quite a bit. He was a little bit more on the romancy side though. Ash by Melinda Lowe is still one of my favorite fantasy books. Really fantastic. It's a retelling of kind of a Cinderella story, but with lesbians, all right? It's good. It's really cute. So, and I think the hardest part though about all of this was that all of these stories always focused like on the coming out or the struggles of being gay, or being trans or something like that, right? The societal struggles was like the main driving source of the conflict in the story. And so it wasn't just a story about a person who happened to be this particular set of identities. It tended to be more of, hey, this kid has to go deal with society, and this is why society sucks and why we should change, or, and those were great. They helped me, learn a lot more understanding about myself and still gave me some connection to the outside world. I lived in a very, primarily Christian town, all right? There was churches fucking everywhere, and it was not the funnest, because some of them were fire and brimstone kind of churches. Like, no, really, gays are gonna go fire, hell, all of that. Okay, I'm gonna leave out some of what they all said. So now that I'm older, though, I still come back to comics. I do. I love them. I start reading the intros of some of these, and so many times they go, these are the stories that I wish I had as a teen, and so now here I am writing them. So I want to share a couple of those with you that I've read recently. So I've got my lovely assistant here who's going to help me with the links. This one is Mooncakes. I just read this one. One of these is a werewolf, and there's this amazing based moment where, the girl on the right comes back into her, her friend's life, and, sees the friend's family, which are two lesbian grandmothers, by the way. All right? And girl's just or actually, I don't even think they ever specified. It was a little bit ambiguous, but they're like, hey, it's they, them pronouns now. And that was that. That was just the comic. That was just that couple of panels, and that was it. There was no hey, we're gonna go waste time worrying about acceptance. No, it was, we're gonna go tell a story about magic and witches and a werewolf. Bam.
A genderqueer werewolf.
A genderqueer werewolf, yeah. And I don't even remember how it's as if they were in the story. This.
Yeah, it literally says here, queer representation, non-binary, genderqueer, queer female, and it refers to them as female-female relationships, so that's interesting.
Yeah, this is at least the database entry on it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
You'll figure out exactly how accurate this is or not. As you go through it more, because I just found the database. So yeah, this one was really one of my favorites. I loved the colors. This is one of those things that was oh, the world's all bright and colorful. And that just always just makes me happy. So definitely recommend this one. Super good. Now the other one that I was reading, it's called Taproot. And this is two boys in love, and one of them is a ghost. And I think they actually call him Blue, and it is a nice little pun. And this one is just really sweet and cute. There's kind of a mystery going. And again, with the focus is on the characters and on the story, and not just on, hey, you're gay, and that's the only reason we're telling the story is because you're gay. So this one also made me really, really happy.
This one I can actually mention.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. I read this a long time ago, and it got added to Webtoons maybe a couple years ago, and now just got a chance to read it as well.
Yeah, so this one's called Rainbow in the Dark, and it basically starts off in a story where everyone in the story is in black and white, very sort of Pleasantville.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise of it being is that there are actually these like things happening there which regular people can't see or are aware of. And this girl, who's very much part of the norm, gets dragged into it. And eventually, when she comes to sort of accept herself, she goes into color too. And you begin to meet these really interesting characters. It's got a very sort of hippie vibe, very like, Burning Man kind of thing going. But like, it's a very interesting comic about accepting yourself. She gets to do a lesbian relationship with one of the other characters. You can start to see how the people in black and white start to become afraid of these people and start to create, issues. And it's just a really fantastic story of sort of self-acceptance, rebellion, and a lot of other really cool stuff. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. And art-wise, it's really fun to watch the color kind of infect the black and white side of things in this as well. So this is one, and if you're not used to comics, like, there is so much going on with the visual storytelling part. And a lot of these visual cues give you so much more information and a really rich experience.
So click that to read the comic.
It's taking a bit to load. It's a big website, I think.
Yeah, so you can get this one right here and watch it digital. That's cool. Yeah, look this up. Look at some of the screenshots if you can find them online. They're really good. And then next one. So
that's actually like, those are the couple of things that I wanted to mention as far as comics I love recently. The next question probably is, where do you find comics? That's a great question. Zena, okay, here's these awesome comics. Where do I find them? So here's the deal. Libraries. All right? Or your local comic book shop.
Tapas,
and Webtoons. And there's probably a few other different sites that host things as well.
Love Webtoons.
Webtoons are amazing. Tapas is similar, but different platform for Webtoons,
Yeah.
And the thing that I want to note with libraries is that, especially in the last few years, there are growing number of digital library collections, so you have a lot of options. Okay, my library's got RB Digital, I think, which does like magazines. Hoopla is a pretty common one, and they do all kinds of media, but they have a bunch of like recent DC stuff, things that are coming out, and Marvel as well as on there, and independent things. So that's where I found the first two, Mooncakes and Taproot, is on Hoopla. And most libraries have some kind of deal where you get like so many checkouts per month or something like that. Gabriel Piccolo, I think, is well known for doing Teen Titans art. And he paired with a writer, Cami Garcia. I could have butchered all of that. But the Raven and Beast Boy comics that they have started are all on there as well. And again, if you can't get a library card or something in your local area, there are a lot of places. I think, let's see, Boston Public Library and a few other big ones around the country that you can get like a subscription for as well. So you don't necessarily have to even like be right next to the library. The other really cool thing that just pulled up, and this one of our friends sent me this, is the library extension. You can install this on your browser, and if you are, say, on Amazon, all you got to do is tell the extension what libraries you're part of and what you want it to show. And, right up above the buying section, it will tell you if this book is in at your library and what collection it's in. Right? So I go to look up a book, and, hey, Hoopla's got the thing. Oh, I'll just go get it there. So yeah, I think those are some of the big ones. With audio, I definitely love audiobooks too. That's the other thing we really like.
We need to get back to those.
Right? I know Jess does most of the reading through audiobooks at this point. And definitely my suggestion too is when you're dealing with books like this, don't be afraid to do things like experiment with what size the text is. I read with the text at like a 16 or 18 point font, and I found that suddenly I like reading and I don't fall asleep constantly trying to do it now. That's been really helpful. Audiobook apps usually let you, speed up or slow things down. You can change the fonts usually. You can change the backgrounds. Whatever's going to kind of make it easiest, for you to read and make your eyes work. So that's kind of that stuff. The next part is a little bit of a rant for me. So being a lefty and kind of one of the things that's really important to me with politics is access to information. And I don't think there's enough out there right now for people as far as accessibility with internet. I think there definitely needs to be a lot more. But at the moment, what we've got is libraries. That really is a big one. And this is one of those grounding moments where, I do find myself try to avoid being terminally online and having that be like my only interaction with the outside world. And so this is one of those things where I really do want to recommend to people. Libraries are really helpful, all right? They do a lot more than just house books. At a very basic level, freedom of information, the ability to research, to look things up, you're going to get that through libraries, all right? You want to go get research articles and access to, databases of peer-reviewed stuff, go to your library, all right? Ask your librarians for help. That's how you're going to learn more of that stuff when you really do need, critical, well-researched information, all right? And libraries have a lot of other resources as well. They're warm, they have bathrooms, okay? They usually have things like study places, meeting rooms, and again, these are just free resources. You can just be call up the library, hey, I need a meeting room for this time, and see what they've got open, okay? Homework and school tutoring, I know our library signed up for several things where I could get, help free tutoring through these programs, right there through the internet using their computers, all right? If I needed help, that's how I got it. It was completely free. And again, they've got sections for kids, teens, adults. By the way, adults, shut the fuck up and just let teens be. Seriously, there's a teen section at the library for a reason. It's okay if they're there. All right, I'm just putting that out there. Maybe go hang out somewhere else and let the teens do that. All right. So, computers, internet, faxing, printing. Who's got a fax machine anymore? I'm going to be honest. And the other thing that they do too is also connection to local resources. And this is a huge one, all right? Things like, taxes. I know we all don't like paperwork and stuff. But taxes, food banks, organizations that help people look for jobs can go through the libraries to help get these things out to people, all right? A lot of different organizations can also post and be like, hey, we exist, right? Get the word out through the library. And some libraries have also started, letting people check out big things like microscopes and large, nice sewing machines. These also have a lot of classes. So things like art classes, or informational classes. So they can also be a resource for learning as well. This is how I got introduced to yoga, was actually through library classes. All right. And this is also where I hung out a lot as a kid, right? One of the reasons I'm really passionate about writing is because I got to go, to a writer's group with a really wonderful man who does a humor column and is award-winning for his humor stuff. But he really did teach us, college-level stuff when we were in, middle school and high school. I got to college and thought creative writing was a fucking joke in school because I already went through all of this. So there's a lot of neat ways that this can be really of service to people. And if you see that your library is putting through anything for funding, please, please, please consider voting to pass that through. All right. More funding means that they get more computers, they get more internet. It means that anyone in your community, who may not have access to good internet, and trust me, even in our town, we have awesome internet right here, all right? But there are people who are 20 minutes away that barely have any internet or don't have it, all right? There are still places around that don't have solid internet, and that's just a need for us at this point in the world, all right? If you want to show up and you want to get like a job, no, you're expected to have the internet, all right? We can't just not have that stuff. So at the very least right now, libraries are resources out there that can at least bridge some of the gap until we can get more stuff through. So, yeah, that's my spiel. This is just something I'm really passionate about, you know.
I guess one thing I would just add, and this is Zena's thing, so I'm only going to say this briefly, is that this is one of the reasons why anytime someone gives you shit for using Wikipedia too, again, anti-intellectuals are the ones that ignore Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a free service that is there for anyone to use, that in a lot of cases is updated and shows references. Even if someone's edited something to be stupid, there are chances are you can still see references that will give you the proper information down at the bottom of the page. Information is important. Anti-intellectuals, fascists, and the like do not want you to have it. This is why there's literally book burnings happening right now about critical race theory and all this other stuff. I think is incredibly important to value information, not in the sense of hoarding it or thinking it makes you better than, but I think it's incredibly important to do your best to value information and the use of it. Even just access to queer comics is in its act and its own form of transgression. Yeah, and go read Mouse.
Yes, that one too. Beyond Safe Words will give you
gold stars.
Gold stars if you go read that. And also that one was at the library too. You know. So yeah, those are a bunch of things that are really important to me that I'm really passionate about that. And trust me, if you're suffering being terminally online, it happens to the best of us. You know, go check out your local library. A lot of places are still doing online events too. So with that, I feel like that's a good vlog there.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.
If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, consider donating to us. You can support us on our website, transgirltherapist.org. You can also help us on our Patreon, link below, or you can become a member here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching.